Okay, I'm back again. God still speaks through visions and dreams. Yes, He does. I've been talking about the millennial reign of Christ. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to just go through all this. Now, I have not been giving you all many scriptures, but I'm going to give you some scriptures to read. The book of Isaiah talks a lot about the millennial reign, almost the entire book. Almost the entire book of Ezekiel. Almost the entire book talks a lot about the millennial reign. It even describes the temple. It describes the activities that we're going to be doing in the millennial reign. The book of Ezekiel, the book of Isaiah. Song of Solomon is a picture of the millennial reign. The love between a man and a woman, or men and women. Okay? It's kind of a picture of what to expect in the millennial reign. The Song of Solomon is kind of like a picture or of what you can expect, the kind of relationship you can expect in the millennial reign between a man and a woman. Now, right now I'm talking about lovemaking and sex in the millennial reign, but I'm giving you some books that you can go study and read. And if you read this in mind, these books are talking mostly about the millennial reign, then your eyes are open and you will understand a lot more. But if your eyes are closed to what it's actually talking about, you'll be reading and won't even know what is. You won't even understand it. Okay, so these books are talking. There are a lot of scriptures in the book of Psalms, chapters in the book of Psalms talks about the millennial reign. One in particular I do know is Psalms 110, I believe. Hold on a second. Yes, it's Psalms 110. That's one chapter I do know that is addressing the millennial reign. Okay. There are a lot of scriptures. As I said, also, the word says God declares the end from the beginning. If you want to understand the end, go to the beginning, understand the beginning, and you will understand the end. Of course, there are some scriptures in Revelation, that tells you something about the millennial reign. I think the book of Zechariah, there's another book that starts with a Z. Zechariah, and there's another book that starts with a Z. There's some scriptures in Jeremiah. It's just a lot. But Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, almost the entire book of Isaiah is referring to the millennial reign. Almost the entire book of Ezekiel. So if you just start there, and then run reference on other scriptures that relate to the scriptures in Isaiah and Ezekiel, it'll help you understand the other scriptures on the millennial reign. Also, there's a chapter in the book of Psalms, not the book of Psalms, the book of Psalms, 45th chapter is referring to a millennial king. Okay, it's referring to a millennial king. I'm gonna try to answer some of y'all questions that you wrote me. Maybe not in this video, but in another one. So there are a lot of scriptures in the Bible referring to the millennial reign, and a lot of one way you catch it is it looks like it's talking about something pertaining to the past, but actually it's revealing the future. Okay, again, remember, the future is revealed in the past. God declares the end from the beginning. Okay, now, one thing I want to get straight here. Right now I'm talking about specifically love making and romance in the millennial reign. I don't normally like using this word sex because sex will not be in the millennial reign. Okay, sex will not exist as we know sex, and hopefully I can explain that later. But sex will not exist as we know sex in the millennial reign. It's going to be on a whole new. Love making and romance, and it's going to be on a whole nother level. It's going to be in a whole nother arena, even for the immortals. Okay, but anyway, I want to make something clear here that I'm not insinuating or anything like that the only thing the millennial reign is going to be about is sex and getting high and irresponsibility. That's not what I'm saying at all. Okay? There are going to be a whole lot of other things to do. You're going to have assignments. You're going to do explorations. You're going to explore things, and you're going to have other assignments and all kind of other things. You're going to govern cities. You're going to govern nations. You're going to lay down laws. You're going to rule. You're going to enforce laws. You're going to act as angels or messengers. You're going to act as angels or deputies. Okay? Or what's another word for angels? Deputies and agents. You're going to act as agents. And you're going to explore. You're going to discover things, and you're going to invent things, and you're going to rescue people. You're going to go on rescue missions. You're going to do security work. You're going to, of course, we're going to oversee the sanitation. You're going to do priestly services. We will be priests of the Lord. We're going to do priestly services. A lot of you all will be pastors of churches. There still will be churches in the millennial reign. Okay, you're going to be over churches. You're going to be instructors, instructing the entire. You're going to be instructing the citizens. Okay. You're going to govern the cities and the nations, enforce the law, and so on and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of things, a lot of other things to do. Okay, other than people. I've heard people talk on sex in the millennial reign, and man, their mind is not ready for that. They are not. Their spirit, their soul is not. They need to actually be saved first. They need to repent of their sins first. I mean, just from listening to them talk about that, you can tell they're not ready. Okay, we're not to. Our goal is not to go to heaven for sex. Come on, man. All right, because if that's your goal, you're probably going to miss heaven, and you're probably going to miss the millennial reign. Okay. Now, let me see. What was I stopped. Okay, I'm gonna try to describe this sexual relationship between men and women in the millennial reign. Now, this is what I have discovered, and this stuff, God taught me this stuff. I didn't learn this stuff in a church. I didn't learn it at a school, a seminary, or I didn't learn it from anybody, man. I mean, this over the course of 30 years, 35 years, God taught me about the millennial reign. And when I first began to have these dreams about the millennial reign, I didn't believe it because I didn't want to believe it because I've never been taught or heard anything like this. And for a long time, I would have these dreams, and I would think, for some reason, I knew God gave me that dream. I knew He gave me these dreams. I knew He did, but I was like, I've never known anything like this. But I would say, God, I know You gave me that dream. But I had to go to the Word to substantiate what I believe about that dream. Okay? And the first dream He gave me on concerning courtship. I would say, courtship between a man and a woman in the millennial reign is I was out one day. I was laying out on the ground, and this young lady was laying there beside me. We wasn't touching or anything. We didn't touch each other, but we was laying there. But it's just, it's the feeling you get. It's just really, it is really different. It is really, really good when you are engaging in a conversation with somebody that you care about in the millennial reign. It's just a feeling, I'm telling you, it's beyond what you've experienced here. But she was laying there beside me, and we were facing each other, and she was, hold on a second. Excuse me. Yeah, she was laying there beside me, and I was laying there beside her, and I was just listening to her. She was talking. She was almost begging, like imploring me. She was like, "Would you please let me be the first lady in your group?" And in the dream, I knew exactly what she was talking about. But when I woke up, I was like, "What was that? What was she talking about?" But in the dream, I knew, and she was like begging, like just repeatedly asking, "Would you let me, please? Would you let me be your first lady in this group?" Because in the millennial reign, there are going to be men with, I won't call it a harem. It's not a harem, but it's like there's going to be, because women going to far outnumber men in the millennial reign. There's going to be far more men than women, and so these women are going to want, they're going to want a man as a, I don't know what you call that. But he's gonna provide protection, and he's gonna provide them with children, and he's gonna provide a number of things. And you can go to Isaiah, the 4th chapter, 4 and 1, and you see that in there. And the chapter 3. Go to Isaiah chapter 3, the last 3 verses. Read that. Isaiah chapter 3, the last 3 verses, and you see that there going to be a shortage of men. And then you go on down to the 4th verse and the 4th chapter and the 1st verse, and it lets you know the women are going to implore of men to be their husbands. Okay? And apparently, I believe these will be mortals, not immortals. Okay, but this young lady, she was practically begging me to let her be the first lady of the group, whatever group it was. It sounded like to me that it's going to be a group of women that, or not just women, but just probably some of us will be over not only communities, but just groups of people. Okay, and as she was asking me this, I was like hesitant to say yes. For some reason, I was like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's going to work. And she just kept asking and kept asking. And I asked her, I said, how many? I said, who all is in our group? And she named probably about anywhere from 5 to 7 women. And some of them I knew, and some of them I didn't. And I said, how many women is one man allowed to care for? And she said, how many do you want to care for? And I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. And she began to implore again, just to the point of almost begging, would you let me be the first lady? And I said, well, I'm just going by what I said in the dream. I said, I hate calling it a dream too, because I know that this was a message from God. It's more than just a dream. And I said, well, we'll have to wait and see. I said, it's not that you're, what I say, a bad girl or anything like that. I said, but we'll have to wait and see what the Lord says. I didn't call him the Lord then. I called him by another name I never heard. And I said, we'll have to see what he say. And uh, I began to, at that point, I began to realize in this dream, wow, we are going to the millennial reign. And I began to get so excited, and it was like, and tears began to just well up in my eyes, and my soul began to feel like it was just swelling up, like it was going to burst with joy. And that's when I woke up. That's when I woke up. And so for a long time, I thought, Lord, I believe you gave me that dream, but I don't understand it. Because at that time, I did not believe that there would be lovemaking and romance in the millennial reign or after death. Because we were just always been taught there's no marriage in heaven. And that's true, there's no marriage in heaven. There's going to be no need for marriage in heaven or the millennial reign. But you will copulate, and you will romance and make love, and all so on and so forth. But anyway, that was just one dream. That's just one dream that I had. There are others. What can I say, man? It's just there were others. I don't remember actually engaging in a sexual relationship in these dreams. No, I did not. But I do remember the romance it's just so wonderful. The romance is just so wonderful. Now, and I've had several of those dreams. Eventually, I just accepted the fact that, hey, this is God speaking. I need to get into this Bible and study it. Now, if you go to Isaiah the 4th chapter, go to Isaiah the 4th chapter, and you'll see that here you'll see that it says, I'm going to read it here. In that day, 7 women will take hold of one man and say, we will eat our own food and provide our own clothes. Not only let us be called by your name and take away our approach. They're saying here that you don't even have to support us financially. These women are looking for somebody to, they're looking for a husband. Now, these got to be mortals, because mortals are the only one that's going to have to marry. The immortals will not have to marry. So these are not immortal. These are not immortal women. These are mortals, because before they can engage in any kind of lovemaking or anything like that, they have to be married. That's going to be the law for them. But these women, it says here that in that day 7 women will take hold of one man. Now this number 7 is not exactly the number 7, but this number 7 means a complete number. It means that it will be as many women as he can handle. Okay, as he can protect or control or govern or whatever. This number 7 is not 7, but it means that it will be his lot, his amount that he's allowed. Okay, so there will be romance and lovemaking in the millennium. Now, somebody wrote me the other day. Let's see, can I find that real quick? And he asked me something about hold on a second here. Okay, somebody wrote me and said, I actually just remembered you saying we have a queen, so that sounds like one true soulmate to me. Okay, listen, this is what you got to remember, y'all. You are talking about heaven. Okay, you're talking about freedom. Absolute freedom. You're talking about the millennial reign. You're talking about you ruling and reigning as God or as a God. What does that mean? That means if you want a queen, you can have a queen. That means if you don't want a queen or you want princesses, you can have princesses. The Song of Solomon, Solomon was a type. Solomon was a type of Christ. Okay, he was a type of millennial Christ. Read also Psalms 45. It's talking about a millennial king in there. That king in Psalm 45, he has a queen. And he also have princesses. And he also have concubines. Also in, what was this? Psalms, what did I say? Psalms 45. And, the Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon. He has a queen. He have many queens. Okay? In the Song of Solomon. He got many queens. And he's got many concubines, and he got many princesses, and so on and so forth. That's the way it's going to be. And this is the reason why I said that, there's just so many things about the millennial reign we just never would imagine. Unless God explained this to us. So that's the way it's going to be. You're not going to be governed by laws or rules. You're going to be governed by freedom. Okay? You're going to be governed by freedom. You're going to be governed by liberty. You're going to be governed by love. You're going to be governed by life and peace. This is going to be your driving, motivating force. Love, life, liberty, peace, and happiness, not the law. So to say that, now, if you're in the millennial reign and you just want a soulmate and you just, you're satisfied with it, that's fine. That's going to be your choice. Or that's going to be your reward, one or the other. That's going to be your choice or your reward. And with just one soulmate, that's fine. That's cool. But there are going to be a lot of men, they're going to have many queens. And they're going to have many concubines, and they're going to have many princesses. Okay? And that's going to be their reward. All right? So, you got to remember, man, when you're talking about the millennial reign, you're talking about heaven, you're free. You are free. Go to read Romans, the 7th chapter, and it tells you in there that when you die, you're not under the law anymore. As long as you live, you are under the law. You're a physical man anyway, not your spirit man. But once you die, you are completely free of the law. Read Romans chapter 7. Okay? So now, there will be lovemaking and romance in the millennial reign. Usually when you ask this in a traditional church, the first scripture they will give you is I forgot what is found. Jesus Christ said there will be no marriage in heaven. And there will not be any marriage in heaven. There's no need for marriage in heaven. Okay, marriage is under the law and it's under bondage. And so there won't be no need for bondage in the law. Now, let's see, there's something else here. Now, okay, another thing. I want to try to explain something here. Lovemaking and romance is very different there than here. Very different. And when we think of lovemaking and romance in heaven, we think of sex as we have sex here. Sex is very different there. As a matter of fact, sex don't even exist there. Okay? Sex as we know it here does not even exist there, because here we have sex in a body of death. This is a body of death. If I slap your hand or stick a needle in it, the sensation is going to be pain. Right? Why is that? Why is it going to be pain? Because this is a body of death. And you're going to feel pain. Okay? That's the reason why you're going to get that sensation of pain, because this is a body of death. And so, in making love, at your point of climax, that sensation is going to come out of a body of death. All right? Now, but when you're in your body of life, when you have your new resurrected body of life, the sensation is going to be different in the body of life than in a body of death. Okay? The sensation of lovemaking in a body of life is different than the body of death. Okay? This body of death, you can literally die from having sex. That's how bad it is. Okay? It's for some people, sex in this body of death is more miserable than pleasure. Okay? But in your body of life, it's going to be very different, much better. Of course, life is better than death, right? Of course it is. So, the sensation in the body of life when having sex is going to be very different from the body of death. Now, let me see. I'm not sure how to do this. But when you are, sex will not really, the physical sex that we know of will not really exist. Even though there will be a physical connection. But the sensation is going to be very different. Now, one thing I found out about lovemaking here versus lovemaking there. We're not getting half of what's due us in lovemaking. Okay? I mean, we're not enjoying not even half of what we should be enjoying in lovemaking. Because we lost all of that in the garden when Adam sinned. When Adam sinned, we lost the full intensity, the full impact of lovemaking. We lost it. Okay? We lost it. And the full amount of pleasure that you can get from lovemaking, we lost that. So now I would just imagine, I would just estimate on a scale of 1 to 100, on a scale of 1 to 100, the full intensity of lovemaking would be 100, of course. I would say we fell all the way down to probably 20. Just my estimation. 20. 25 at the most. Okay? And then that's at our very best. But when we were back into Eden, I'm gonna have to end this video. But when we go back to Eden, when we go back to paradise, when we go back to delight, when we go back to pleasure, when we go back to ecstasy, we're going to experience the full amount of lovemaking. Okay, to its highest, and we cannot, our physical bodies will not be able to stand the full intensity of lovemaking. This physical body would literally die from the full intensity of lovemaking in our new glorified bodies. So you couldn't experience it now. Okay, I'm gonna have to end this video and I'll have to start another one. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna start the next video on the three. I guess you can call it 3 components of lovemaking. Okay. We know pretty much about what it is to have sex. I mean, everybody knows that. But we do not know, we have not experienced much in the soulish realm. We have experienced a lot in the physical when it comes to sex and lovemaking. But we have not experienced much in the soulish realm, and we have not experienced hardly anything in the spiritual. So I'm going to explain that when I come back, okay? God shall speak through visions and dreams.